So I just got done watching a movie called their recent movie called Imaginary, and with this movie we follow a stepmom, stepdaughter, basically all that, and they move back into the stepmom's original home. And in the home of her, in her home, in her home, in her basement, there's Chauncey the bear that she left behind. And basically her little stepdaughter that she loves so much, not really loves the teenager, but the teenager is a teenager in this movie. And basically the little girl finds this teddy bear locked in a and put away in the basement behind like this weird like door. So she's like, what are you doing down here? Do you need a friend and everything? So everything's going all right until basically Chauncey's the bear's name starts, how would you say, communicating with the little girl, but not like talk like this, communicating more like, um, what's the word for it? Like, what's the word? Basically telling her to do stuff like this, do stuff like that, like paranormal stuff, basically. And yeah, she like she had to make a list about what to do to open this door to imaginary world. It may sound like kiddish and Blumhouse kiddish, but it is still a horror movie. So basically, like, she has to get something that makes her happy, something that hurts, does something that hurts her, like, literally, she was about to hold on, impale herself with a nail, like that type of hurt. And then basically, oh man, I forgot what the rest was, but her mom, on the other hand, before the movie, kept having these nightmares of like weird creatures coming after her. And she starts to realize that those were like her imaginary friends, her imagination coming back to haunt her. But when she moved into her house, it was like, huh, okay, I'm not having those bad dreams anymore. Huh, that's weird. But anyway, back to the little girl. She's like literally playing games with Chauncey, and Chauncey's doing everything like for her to make her happy to stay here. And yeah, there was this one scene where that actually did get me a little bit. Sure, I cover my ears and everything, but I do go like this in horror movies. Like, I know there's a jump scare, but there was this one scene where she's having a tea party with Chauncey, and the mom's recording, thinking this is all sweet and everything. All of a sudden, she hears a voice like, "Thank you." Her mom's like looking around the corner. All of a sudden, there's just like legs, like going back, like, oh man, she almost saw me. All of a sudden, the the her real mom that is sick in a hospital jumps out of like nowhere and like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And yeah, basically throughout the whole movie, she's like, Chauncey told me to do this. Chauncey told me to do this. And everyone's like, Chauncey's just their imaginary friend. You did this to yourself. No, Chauncey told me to do it. He told me to do it. This is where it gets interesting, but still not really that much a good horror movie that much. But this is where it does get interesting. So there's a therapist scene where the therapist is coming in and talking to I forgot what the little girl's name is. See, look, this movie's sometimes forgettable, but basically sitting her down and recording and everything, and she's like, "Hey, can I invite Chauncey in?" She grabs Chauncey, sits him down, and she starts to like cry, like, Chauncey, please don't make me do this, Chauncey. Please, I don't want to start doing all this bad stuff. Like, starts making her cry while Chauncey's just like sitting here like this, basically telling her in her mind to do all this. Please, Chauncey, no, no. So then this is where it gets interesting, though. So after the therapist scene, she's like, daughter good at ventriloquist or whatever that's called. And the stepmom's like, no, 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 I don't think she's into that stuff. Ha ha ha, that's funny. But she really likes that bear that she brought in. The therapist is like, what bear? The bear, Chauncey, the bear. There was no bear. There was no bear. Like, there was no bear. So they look on the secure. So then the teenager steps in, and the stepmom's like, hey, do you remember your little sister having a bear? What what bear? So they look back on the camera, and they literally see the little girl holding nothing in her hand, where Chauncey would be at, holding nothing. So, like, Chauncey's really, like, you're seeing Chauncey in her imagination, like, oh man, that is a stuffed teddy bear. All of a sudden, we look through the eyes of the therapist, she's not even seeing nothing. So basically, she thinks, like, that little girl is hallucinating, she's crazy. But the stepmom's like, I see this bear, I see it. We figure out in the movie that there's an old lady that lived next to them. She's been there forever, even when the stepmom was so little, she had to come over and babysit her. And she would do the same thing. Like, there's this friend named Chauncey I made, and he told me to do all this stuff, all this bad stuff, all this stuff just to get to this realm place or whatever, so I could keep hanging out with him. Even the grandma, the old lady was like, okay, something's weird with this child. So she remembers that the stepmom brought Chauncey in real life. Like, she made Chauncey, basically. And she was talking about how imaginary friends, they give you your friends, like, forever and everything. But once you leave them behind or forget about them, they get angry. They get, like, possessive. They get rage. They get all this. Like, something... So in the movie, there's some plot points that are so interesting, you want to, like, learn about them. You want to learn. Oh, no, I'll just skip all that to, like, a joke. That's where the movie really came down, where it's like, scary moment, joke. Joke, scary moment, joke. So it was like, a movie was like, do I take this seriously? Or, I know there were some scary moments, but it was also like, is this a horror movie or what? Like, what's going on? That's where you're, like, basically throughout the whole movie. And but yeah, the little girl gets taken and everything. Your basic horror movie premise: the little girl gets taken into this realm that the little girl had to make with, like, a door, like in I believe Beetlejuice, where they had to make a door to like another world or something, kind of like that, you could say. So she makes, like, this door that goes to, like, to this realm where imaginary friends. Imagine Monsters Inc. Just imagine that, where imaginary friends can hop through any other door. Like, okay, she's in this door, I'll go in this door. Or, oh, my best friend's in this door, I'll go in that door. Something still interesting in this movie where it's like the whole realm part. But they're basically just trying to find the little girl now, like, so interested in this, like, other realm. They didn't have really any also, like, chemistry on set either. The actors didn't, so you can feel like when something's really off. And basically the grandma starts going nuts because they think she and Chauncey, or one of her imaginary friends, starts talking about, like, you should let this little girl in. You should do all this just to let him in. She gets the only kill in the whole movie is that old lady. She gets killed by Chauncey. Like, but yeah, basically, it was fun, but, like, wasn't really, like, memorable, and walked out kind of more interested, but then, like, disappointment at the same time. But anyway, that's my review on Imagination. Hope you guys... Imaginary? Imaginary. So I hope you guys like this review. I know I'm not a good movie reviewer like 3C Films is or Sean Chandler is on YouTube. But anyway, I'm still reviewing movies. Trying my best to review them for you guys to watch. But anyway, like, if you're like a little kid that's like 13, like, oh, I am into scary movies, I want to try to get into scary movies, I think, if I'm going to be positive, because Blumhouse has ups and downs with like PG-13 horror movies, but I would maybe start from there. Like, still take your family, but like, but but yeah, basically start like a Blumhouse PG-13 movie. Those don't PG-13 like horror movies because they don't really do. They bring the horror and everything, but they don't really do like so good. It's the next It movie or the next Nun movie or whatever. But basically, yep, that's my review, and I think I'm gonna have to give this one a 5 out of 10. You know, that imaginary friend part was interesting, and the realm part was, but the story itself was just messy. Oh, and there was one character I really did like who was like some sort of spider imaginary character. That was pretty freaky and awesome. So was Chauncey, but I seen Chauncey a lot and not the spider really on like YouTube or anything. So I thought the spider was actually pretty cool. And basically at the end we see this other kid with another like imagine. Oh yeah, so one part was like there's some funny jokes that are actually pretty funny. So at the end where they're going to a hotel, you know, staying the night and everything, they're not going back to their original house. This one kid is like, oh, I have an imaginary friend that's telling me to do all this and all that. His name is like Mr. Rabbit or whatever. It is still Chauncey the Bear, but basically they're like, nope, I'm out of here. Nope, we're out of here. We'll just go to the next hotel over. Yeah, so this doesn't happen. So in the movie, it's like they also explain, but don't get into because why not? Why not? It's so interesting. Let's not get into that. Let's not dive into that more. Where other kids would start to make imaginary friends, and they would also be like the same to Chauncey. So like there was this one with about like a rabbit. Don't think of Five Nights at Freddy's. It's totally different. But basically would tell him like, do this and do that. Basically making that child cry because he doesn't want to, but doing it anyway to enter like this realm or something. But anyway, there was a few plots in the movie where it's like interesting, but they never really dive into that. If that makes sense. They don't really like, oh, let's explore this imaginary world or whatever first, and then the horror part or whatever. They just find the girl, skip all that cool parts, and just just a basically bad generic horror movie for like teenagers to go watch. Like I thought watching the trailer, oh, this is gonna be something cool. You know, it's PG-13. It's by Blumhouse, who did the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, Black Phone, Invisible Man, Megan, the Halloween franchise, the 3 Halloween movies. I mean, I think that's all I've seen of them. I haven't seen like those other movies or Night Swim yet. But yeah, this is like a 5 out of 10. It's not like it's a little bit enjoyable, but it's not like it's more kind of like okay, oh man, that is cool that they did that and put that in there, but then they totally changed it to a joke. Okay, I'm just gonna. Oh wait a minute, that's so cool. Chauncey turned into this. Like the transformation parts were so cool, but anyway, that's my review. 5 out of 10. It was an alright horror movie to put on like Halloween, but it was just meh. So hope you guys like this video. Make sure you hit like and subscribe for more videos like this. And you take care.